Now it's time to actually start changing the music in this score. This first lesson is deliberately very easy. You're just going to change a few things and add some new material in, so don't worry about going wrong. If you do end up stuffing up your score, you can just close it without saving and then open it again. You can edit the pitch of a note simply by clicking on it and holding, and then dragging it up or down. Try this by dragging the first note in the bass part up and down. Notice that it changes red if it goes below bottom E, because that's the lowest note on a standard double bass, so Sibelius is warning you it probably isn't playable. Try dragging a few more notes. In fact, you'll notice when you drag them into the difficult range for any instrument that they turn a deep red, and then when they get impossible, they turn a bright red. Clever Sibelius. Let's edit the pitches in the bass part. Back to where we started, drag the second note of the bass part to G, and the note on the third beat to A. Now we can play that back to see what it sounds like. You can also change the pitch of notes using the up and down arrow keys on your keyboard. Select a note and press arrow up or arrow down. To change the rhythm of notes, you use the keypad panel. This panel is positioned by default in the bottom right corner of your screen. If yours has gone missing, you can quickly search for it using Find in Ribbon to turn it back on. Let's change the first note in the bass part to a dotted half note, or dotted minim, depending on which rhythmic value names you're used to. Simply click on it, and then click on the half note button on the keypad, and then on the rhythm dot button. Make sure you don't confuse the rhythm dot button with this button, which is the staccato button. To practice that, edit the drum part too, so that it matches the pattern shown on screen. In Sibelius, the escape key is often referred to as your best friend. If you have a selection or something is happening that you don't understand, you can quickly press escape to cancel it. Your second best friend in Sibelius is the undo command. The Windows and Mac versions have this command in slightly different places, but you're better served by memorizing the shortcut if you don't know it already from every other program under the sun. The shortcut to undo what you just did is Ctrl and Z, or if you're a Mac, Command and Z. Try changing some things in your score, and then undoing those changes. One great mantra when using any kind of software is that you shouldn't have to do the same thing twice. Because an awful lot of music is made up of repeated patterns, ostinati, chord patterns, structural repetition, motivic development, the list goes on. The next most important commands are copy and paste. You can start copying and pasting with the usual shortcuts. Ctrl and C, or Command and C on a Mac, and Ctrl and V to paste. Of course, that's Command and V on a Mac. If you're wondering where these commands are in Sibelius, they're on the Home tab. Let's try copying a dynamic. Click on the MF in the drum part in bar 5 and copy it by typing Ctrl and C, or Command and C on a Mac. Click on the first note in the bass part and then paste the MF there using the usual Ctrl and V or Command and V on a Mac. Easy. You can also paste it into the guitar tablature part at bar 5 by just clicking on it and pasting again. No need to copy a second time. Sibelius will even play back discernibly louder at that point now. Copy and paste is a quick way of copying music. It has 4 steps. Select an object, press copy. Select a position to paste it to, press paste. Incredibly, Sibelius has a quick copy function, which is twice as fast as that. To quick copy, you simply select the object you want to copy, for instance, the MP in the guitar part at the start, and then hold down Alt, or Option on a Mac, and click where you want it to be copied. Only 2 steps. In addition, if you have a 3-buttoned mouse, you can click with the middle button, which is often also a scroll wheel, to copy without needing to hold the Alt key at all. Often, you'll want to copy more than one thing at once. For example, if you want the guitarist to crescendo just as the drummer does in bar 4, click the first dynamic, and then hold down Ctrl, or Command on a Mac, and click on the other 2 dynamics. You can now copy and paste, or quick copy, the selected dynamics into the guitar. You can even copy whole passages of music by making a passage selection. For example, you could copy the drum pattern from bars 9 to 12 if you needed a drum pattern at the start of the piece. You'll probably find it easiest to begin this by switching to Panorama View. To select bar 9 in the drum part, click inside the staff but not actually on a note or any other object. If you've done it correctly, the whole bar will become highlighted blue to let you know that you've been successful. Now hold down the Shift key and click in bar 12 to extend your set selection. Note that the status has updated to say Edit Passage. Once you've successfully made your first passage selection, it's only a moment's work to copy the passage into the first full bar of the drum part. Now that you've learned to copy and paste whole passages of music, we can get more adventurous. Let's imagine that your guitarist would prefer a traditionally notated part instead of tablature. Press I, which is the shortcut to open the Add or Remove Instruments dialog box. Change the Choose From drop-down to Common Instruments, and then expand the Guitars family. Choose the classical guitar with notation, and then click the Add to Score button. You'll see it added to the list of instruments on the right. I'm not so fond of where Sibelius has put the guitar in the list in this instance, so I'm going to move it down below the vocal solo, which should definitely be at the top. Click OK, and you'll see the new guitar staff in the score. To copy all the music from the guitar tablature staff to the new guitar part, you can learn another trick. Triple-click the staff to select the entire part. Yes, a triple click means 3 rapid clicks on the staff. Now, simply copy the part over. If you go back to one of the page views, you may notice that the new instrument is making things a little squishy. If that's the case, simply click on the Layout tab and then click Optimize in the Staff Spacing group. It was pretty easy to create that new guitar part. Just as easy, you can create chord diagrams for your new guitarist. To do this, triple-click the new guitar staff and then click on the Text tab in the ribbon and choose Add from Notes in the Chord Symbols group. In the resulting dialog box, all you need to do is click the Every X from the start of bar option and set it to a dotted quarter note or a dotted crotchet if you prefer. Then click OK. Sibelius analyzes the music played and creates chord diagrams for you. Again, you may be a little short on space with these new symbols on your score, so optimize staff spacing again to get Sibelius to clean your score up for you. If your music is made of exact repeated patterns, Sibelius can help you input that even quicker. For example, if the drum pattern were the same every bar, you could just repeat the first bar by selecting it and typing R for repeat. Try this now for the first 4 bars. If you're a minimalist composer in the mould of Steve Reich or Philip Glass, your work isn't going to take very long. You can even repeat selections that are as short or as long as you like. Let's repeat the whole song. Select the first note in the first bar in the first instrument, and then shift-click the last note in the bass part in the last bar, being careful not to select the rest at the end of the bar. Then press R to repeat the whole song. Perhaps for the second verse, we could ask the singer to play a solo on a different instrument. To do this, click on the Home tab and choose Change from the Instruments group. This dialog is very similar to the Add and Remove Instruments dialog that you've already used, so it's easy to work out how to create a change to clarinet in B-flat. Now, just click at the start of the second verse to ask your singer to play the second verse on clarinet. Have a listen and you'll notice that even the sound changes in Sibelius. Your clarinetist is going to have a problem trying to play and sing the lyrics at the same time, so we should delete them. Of course, you could do this one by clicking on each and then pressing delete, but there's a quicker way. Make another passage selection, this time of the second verse in the vocal and clarinet part. Then, click on the Home tab and find the Lyrics filter by clicking on the Filters button in the Select group. Immediately, every word in the part is highlighted. Now you can just press Delete to delete them all at once. In Lesson 2, you'll learn most of the methods of note entry, but for a bit of fun, let's add some harmony to this clarinet part. Make a passage selection of the clarinet part in bars 17 and 18, and then add notes a sixth below the melody by clicking on the Note Input tab and then choosing sixth from the Below button in the Intervals group. Have a listen to your first bit of composition. If you like it, add some more harmony to the clarinet using the Intervals button. The last thing you'll do in this part of the lesson is to edit some text. You can do this simply by double-clicking any text on the page. When you've finished editing it, press Escape to leave Edit Text mode.